Welcome, everyone, to Amerikwan show.
Amerikwan show.
Still called brand new show. It's our second show.
I think we're brand new for at least
1 year.
No, I think we can be brand new for at least 3 shows. Okay. So we're still brand new.
Still brand new. Okay, today we have our special guest, Mr. Robert Johnson from the law firm R.D. Johnson Law Office.
You got it.
And we're going to cover
lots of great stuff.
Living trust.
Yes.
And asset protections, and the more and the more. So I will leave the subject to you.
Okay.
Would you please give like a brief introduction about yourself and your firm, your business to our audience?
Be happy to. Yeah. Like you said, Robert Johnson is my name. Usually go by Rob or actually RD. Happened onto the RD because there are just so many Robert Johnsons in the world. Probably the most common name on planet Earth.
I can imagine. I think if we did a search for you on Facebook, you might be the 50th guy down.
Yeah.
Thousands of Robert Johnsons.
Yeah, and there's actually a handful of Robert Johnson attorneys in Las Vegas. So when I opened my firm, I of course looked up all the Johnsons and thought, I can't use any of the others, so I ended up with R.D. Johnson. So now a lot of my clients call me R.D. as well. So and I've gotten used to that. I'm okay with R.D.
All right. Well, we love R.D. also. R.D. The initials, Quan. Just the initials. R.D.
So my initial is Amerikwan.
Yeah, you're AK. You can be like a machine gun.
Not a 47, but just an AK.
You are like a machine gun.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Not quite yet. Well, anyway, RD, we appreciate you being here today.
My pleasure.
I'm sure Quan is going to ask you a ton of questions here, but it's very important asset protection and living trusts because when you least expect it, you'll need it.
You're going to die someday.
Everybody.
And the chances are in this world that we live in, unfortunately, you may well get sued at some point. So planning ahead so that you don't lose everything is very important.
Okay.
All right. So, would you please talk a little bit importance of living trust and the asset protections, especially I think it's a very important concept for Asian people, family. They love to leave legacy to their children, build their future from today. So you might can tell us. Let's talk about living trust first.
Just in terms of estate planning in general, one of the big issues is not only making sure that your family gets what you intend each one to receive, but also to avoid probate. That's a big issue. When you die, if you own assets, the only way to legally pass ownership of those assets to your heirs is through the probate process. And what a lot of people don't realize is that whether you die without a will or with a will, you've got a ticket to probate court. Because the will, really what it does, the big plus of a will is it allows you to spell out who gets what, rather than leaving it up to the intestate statutes.
Right.
If you die without a will, it's called an intestate estate.
Right.
And then the law in Nevada just spells out then who, or the state where you die spells out who gets what, and nobody has any say in the matter. With the will, you've specified who's going to get what. But again, that will is a ticket to probate court, so you have to go submit that will to probate court.
Okay, I have a question for you. And I think this has a lot to do with a lot of people here. Like, okay, I've been married 17 years, got a couple kids, a wife. I mean, the house really is our biggest asset. I mean, we have a couple paid-off cars, big deal. We have some stock that we're putting aside for our kids' education. If I were to, in my mind, if I were to kick off today, it just all goes to the old lady, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Is that seem where most people are thinking? And I've always been curious about We see it on TV all the time. So it's going to be 2 questions. 2 loaded questions there, RD. They read the will. Okay, you get this, you get that. But why is there this process of probate? Why can't we just okay, old Danny wants the house to go to his cousin. What's the deal?
Well, the probate process gives order to all that. If the kids or the wife or whoever just starts and coming and dividing and taking things, which sometimes happens too. If you're not careful, somebody passes on and they go raid the house. But the probate process really is designed to put order into that process. There's a legal procedure. First of all, one of the issues when someone dies is to make sure that all potential creditors are notified, so they have a chance to make a claim against the estate. If there's been any public assistance, so the government can make a claim for recovery of.
Okay, stop right there. I've never heard that before in my life. Okay, so if there's been public assistance, and somehow you've gotten off the public assistance and went on with your life and maybe build some assets and a house, and maybe you hey, thank you for the unemployment or thank you for the welfare for 3 years back when I was 20, they can come back after that?
Yeah, it's not really free as we perceive it to be. They provide the assistance up front, but they can recover against the estate at the end of the day. There are some things that can be done to plan for that, so that there's a minimized impact on the estate. You can gift out some of those assets to your children during your lifetime. Trusts that are designed to take some of those assets out of your estate, that type of thing. But whatever is there at the end of the day, if there have been those public benefits, then potentially they can recover.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I've never heard of that before.
So yeah, that's an issue. So again, the key thing is planning your estate so that you know what's going to happen and you minimize the impact of taxes on your estate. You minimize the impact of loss to creditors. You make sure that you get to your family those things that you want them specifically to receive, so there's nothing left to chance.
Kwan, do you have a couple other things on your...
Yeah, I think from what you're talking about is a benefit by save time, save money, and like a peace of mind for people in case if something happened to the household, then how the rest of members of the family will continue their life.
Right on. And again, going back to probate, when you die, if you haven't done the planning, or if the only planning you've done is with a will, again, you have to go through that probate process. And first of all, time is a big issue. There's a statutory process, and it has to go through that process. And part of the reason, again, is so that notice can be given to all potential creditors, and they have a time frame to make their claims. Notice goes out to all the potential heirs, and they have a time to make their claims against the estate and all that kind of stuff. And so it just takes time. So it's not uncommon for that process to take close to a year in a more complicated estate, or if you have people that are objecting to the will or whatever, it can be tied up for a lot longer. So, again, part of your planning should be to try and avoid that process, and the best way that you can do that is through a trust. And the most common asset protection, or not asset, but estate planning tool is the revocable living trust. And what the game with the revocable living trust is to try and take the assets out of your estate during your lifetime so that it's owned by the trust, so that you ideally, when it comes time for you to die, you don't own anything.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, maybe you talk a little bit about the will, living trust, and three trusts.
The difference between the two.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Sounds great.
We'll be back.